So I received an interesting question in my email the other day that was asking how to buffer radius around a point. So basically turn a point into a polygon with a specific radius. So I thought it would be a neat example to create a video for. So here I've created a map with a single point in it. And I want to buffer some radius, let's say 100 kilometers around this point. To do this, I'm going to need a little bit of SQL. So in my CartoDB dashboard, I've opened up my SQL editor. And I'm going to write an update statement. I'm going to update my table, which is just called untitled table, and I'm going to set the geometry equal to some new geometry. This new geometry is going to be a buffer. I'll create a link to this in the PostGIS documentation in the description of this video. But I'm going to buffer my geom, so the geom, and then I'm going to actually recast the geometry. This is interesting. I'm going to recast it to something called a geography. And this is the point on a spherical Mercator, and it allows me to work in units of meters. Okay? And this is nice because then I can buffer this point by a certain amount of meters. So this function takes two parameters. It's going to be my point, and then it's going to be the meters. So here I could buffer it by 1 kilometer if I did 1,000, 10 kilometers if I did 10,000, or 100 kilometers if I do 100,000. Okay, and then because the geom is actually not on a spherical Mercator, it's in WGS84, I need to cast the result back to the old projection. And that's simple with, in this case, and I just recast it back to geometry, and it will default to WGS84. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply this query. And just like that, CartoDB knows that the type of this has changed from a point to a polygon, and that's the result. That's a 100-kilometer circle or around the point. Now let's look at a case where we have 2 points on the map and we want to buffer them by different distances. So here I have a similar map, but now with 2 points in Europe. And I want to buffer one by, say, 100 kilometers, and the other I want to buffer by a different value, say 50 kilometers. In this case, I've given the points values for their names. One is Paris and the other is Frankfurt. Here you can see in my column called name, I have Paris and Frankfurt, and I'm going to use that to apply the buffer differently for each point. So here I have the same SQL statement that I ran in the previous example, but I'm going to add a filter to it, and I'm just going to put where name equals Frankfurt. So here I'm going to buffer the point on Frankfurt by 100 kilometers. Okay, and CartoDB does something funny because I have mixed geometries. It has a style for both a polygon, which is my new buffer, and the old points. Don't worry, we could fix that if we wanted, but instead I'm just going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to buffer the point with the name equal to Paris by 50 kilometers. And now CartoDB recognizes that it's all polygons in this table, and it styles it correctly for us. And there, just like that, I've created the filter, and I've buffered differentially based on what the name of the point is. Pretty neat. So you can use this in a lot of different ways, and of course you can modify it quite a bit for your own use cases. Hope you find this helpful. Thanks.